Hello and welcome back to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Sherry, a financial coach.
I'm Val, a financial planner, and today we are talking about summer spending. I find this, my clients find this, the world finds this. The weather gets nicer, the plans get made, the money gets spent. How are we getting ahead of this? And what are some tips, tricks, and habits? Sherry, back to you.
Well, Val, 6 o'clock news desk.
Yeah, that was nice.
Well, first off, it's looking at where you stand financially and having a plan. How much money can you spend every month, every payday on summer activities?
Like, what's your extra?
Yeah, and I know it seems like, extra. We don't have extra. So,
Yes, there's less and less of it, I'll say, nowadays, especially when we have other goals that we want to reach.
But where does doing things in the summer fall as far as importance? And if you are working really hard towards some financial goals, do those goals take a back seat for a little bit? And just like big picture, how can you enjoy summer and not incur debt? Because that's, you end up at the end of the summer being like, well, I didn't have enough fun to have $5,000 worth of credit card debt that's going to take me forever to pay off. So there are ways that you can do things at low cost or no cost. There are so many things: going for a walk, going for a picnic, going to some beaches. Some do have entrance fees or parking fees, but just looking at a list and brainstorming some ideas that are very low or no cost, and then putting a value beside them to see like where we want to do something today, especially if you've got kids, little kids, and they're driving you up the wall and you need to do something with them.
I saw this as, so exactly what Sherry is describing. I just need to give it the name, is the summer fun menu. So the exercise was to create a menu of summer fun items, and some of them are the water on the menu. It is free, but it is still fun. And some of them go up to the surf and turf. Obviously, we're not doing the surf and turf. Vegetarian option, please. Every day, every week. That's more those like special, bigger ticket items. But then having an idea. So whether it's with your little ones, whether it's with friends, your partner, or yourself, and there's things that you want to do, but you also want to be conscious of, like having that list and having the dollar sign or a budget associated with it, I think also helps with like friends too, but with your kids especially, to be like, oh yes, there is a value to even just going out for dinner and getting ice cream, right? Like just reminding them not to attach guilt, but to just bring awareness.
Yep. And when you have that overall plan to know in the summer months, we're able to allocate X amount to summer fun activities, and then looking at the things maybe you've already committed to, the items that you want to do that are higher ticket items, and then stepping back and see what's left and how can we allocate that to optimize things. And also, how can you make those higher ticket items cost a little bit less? So if you're going to I haven't looked at Groupon in a long time. It's a coupon thing where you can get special activities for certain like lower costs, but I feel like their whole business plan is that 90% of people don't actually redeem the Groupon. So then you've spent $50 on something that should be $150, but then they've profited $50 because you never actually go do the thing. Solid business plan. Like the low cost gyms, their whole business plan is that you're not going to worry about canceling the $10 a month gym membership. You're just going to keep paying and never go. For those events, so if you're going to like a theme park or something like that, bringing your own food, your own snacks, your own beverages, and then not only is it really good financially because food inside theme parks and stuff like that is expensive, but also, especially if you've got kids with you, having that break to leave the area and hopefully, like most places have small green spaces beside their parking lots or whatever that you can sit in. It's just like that break away from all of the people, all of the noise, all of the stuff, and having a meal that doesn't cost you $50 per person is kind of win-win for me.
Agreed. Yeah. So having those summer plans, working back, looking at things you know you're going to do. Like let's say that you're going to a cottage. You know that's coming up. That is a big chunk that's associated to that. When a plan comes up and you want to go, but you're like, I know that drinks on a patio looks like $10 a drink. Is there something else you can suggest to your friend group that's still just as fun? Or like everyone brings a bottle of wine to my backyard or puts it in a cooler and we go to a park. Like I mean, within the
Don't-
liquor licenses.
Don't get arrested
Yeah,
for
and don't
drinking in a public spot.
don't come back to us for that one. Just different proposals, and I think it does really help when someone else in your circle of events is in a similar financial mindset to you.
Yeah.
So I have a client, she's planning a girls trip, and she is right now more fluid with her disposable income, but she has a friend who just bought a house, and that friend is like, I can go, but this is my budget. That friend is bringing the other two in to be like, yes, let's do it within that number, right? So not being afraid to be the leader that says, because there's typically someone else that's also like, oh shoot, I shouldn't spend that money, but they might not be comfortable saying it.
I don't want to be the one that says that we can't go to the bougie cottage.
Right.
Yeah.
Can we keep this budget friendly? Not being afraid to be the one that's like, actually, can we do something that costs a little bit less? Can we go pick strawberries and listen to music, and then we leave with something and we had fun outside in the sun, right? Like just tossing around different creative ideas that aren't hundreds of dollars on an outing. There was even, for a girlfriend of mine, there's a wine tour that they want to do. So I don't drink, but I'm like, I will gladly be the DD. Does someone have a vehicle that can take us all? And one of them has a farm. So they have a farm van. It was $25 to put me on the insurance versus $100 a person for a limo. I'm like, perfect. Who cares what we're going to show up in? We're all together. That's the biggest thing that people like in limos and party buses is all being together.
Yep. And really figuring out what is something going to cost beforehand, so you're not surprised with girls' weekend can sometimes be, oh yeah, but I also include, there's generally one person that's in charge of the cost of things, and just letting the whole group know, yeah, here's my budget. How do we work within it? But also, I would much rather sit in somebody's backyard, in somebody's living room, and order food in, or everybody brings an appetizer and everybody brings what they want to drink and relax, versus being in a restaurant where, yeah, drinks are $7, $8, $10 and an appetizer is 10 or 15. Then there's all that noise around you, and you feel pressure sometimes to leave at a certain time, even though you might not want to
necessarily socialize with everyone either when you're at that table. But if you're around the campfire or in someone's backyard on their deck, it just gives you more opportunity to truly connect, which is why we're gathering as community. That's why we're coming together. Not being afraid to propose a different alternative, not being afraid to say, I'm trying to make, values aligned financial, decisions, or I have this big goal in the fall, I have to save up for it. So can we do this instead? Not just taking yourself out of the game. 9 out of 10 times the group is open to ideas.
Yeah. And like you said, there's probably somebody else in the group that's feeling apprehensive about having a budget and not openly sharing it. And another good thing to consider or try is to have cash set aside for specific things. So if you're going to a theme park, you're going to an event, you're going to a market, having cash specifically allocated to each event and taking cash and leaving your debit card and your credit card at home. And this can be really good if you've got kids too that are old enough to start learning about money. Having kids start to learn about money and what the cost of things is at a younger age helps them be more receptive to those conversations. So if you go to a market and you give your kid $20 and say, this is your money for spending, and they're going to look at the prices, they're going to be intentional, they're going to make decisions around, okay, I have this amount, versus mom, can you buy me this? Can you buy me this? Because then you're the one holding all the mental load, even though you maybe have a budget that each kid gets to spend $20.
Yes.
But you're having to calculate that math. There's nothing that will teach kids money lessons faster than them having a budget for a specific thing. I remember
that's a great idea.
I remember when Haley came home. This was when like Auto Shop and Home Ec were still a thing.
Yes.
And the idea was they planned out what their clothing spend would be for a year, based on the things that they knew they would need and the prices, and said, can you start giving me like 1/12 of what the budget is every month? And then they would control that. Yeah, sure. This is great. No problem. And that was a weight off of me, and also a lot of lessons that
Mhm.
they had to learn along the way. So really finding ways to incorporate teaching kids about money versus just having that conversation around the scarcity. We can't afford it. We can't do that. We can't do
Yes.
this. That costs too much.
Yep.
That's too expensive. That will give your kids some trauma there to just think about, oh my God, we can never do anything. Mom's always
Right.
saying no. Dad's always saying no. But yes, we can go and do this, but we have a budget. So here's the budget for the whole day. And here's your specific spend. And here's how much
Yep.
these things cost can be eye opening.
We even had a conversation last night, Grant and I, around, because right now he's earning, I'm going to trade my phone in and he wants the old one. So I said, okay, you have to earn 200 points, which is just $200 in my brain. But I'm like, it's a point system.
Oh, why'd you go points and not dollars?
I don't know.
Interesting.
Because I think if he does something with me, like cleaning out the chicken coop, and I'm like, okay, that's 20 points, and it took him an hour. I don't know. Just to, I don't know. Because then he's like, oh, that was $20 an hour. But I'm like, but the next thing might be 5 points and it still might take an hour, but it's less. So I don't know. I just did points.
You said points, but he's thinking dollars. So
yeah, it's fine. It's the same thing. So then we were talking about chores and he's like, what if I do this? What if I do this? And I'm like, nope, those things are your normal pieces. And then there's also ones that he gets an allowance for doing certain chores, but then there's also things that are being a part of a household.
Yep.
Right. So I'm like, no, these are for bigger things. So he's like, what if I cut the grass? He already does that. I said, if you cut the grass and you weed whack, then different story. And do the fine details. So he's like, okay. You could just see his wheels turning, and he watches me fold the blankets and set them on the couch. He's like, what if I start folding the blankets? I'm like, no.
You're stretching, but I appreciate the stretch.
Yeah. He's like, what if I clean the toilets? I'm like, what's the frequency and for how long? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, how many times a week? He's like, twice. I'm like, okay. For how long? Right. It was good conversation because it was getting us both out of our heads. So summer with kids, whether it's a point system or we also do how many books you read.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So that gets a reward. It's usually the winner at the end gets to pick something, which might be a dinner out. It might be a family event. So having that summer fun menu, going over the numbers with everyone to teach kids. And that budget piece is huge. I took Grant and two friends into a grocery store. I needed groceries regardless. And I said, okay, you guys have a budget of $20. The $20 bill would have definitely been more potent because you can't go over. And they're like, each? And I said, no. Collectively. And don't forget about tax. So they're in there because they're learning about those things and they're like putting things back, picking things up. But it was good to see them working together and being like, well, I want this and I want that. And who will all eat this and who won't eat that. So
the tax lesson. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And having a list of free things that you can do when just the kids are climbing the wall, you're climbing the wall, and just maybe the notes app on your phone, maybe it's a whiteboard and your kids can be like, hey, Mom, Dad, can we go do this? It's free.
Yeah. A piece of paper on the fridge of summer ideas menu. Grant right now even loves golfing in the backyard. He makes up his own par with his cousin and they make their own hole. Like, wow.
I'm sending Jason over to play golf in the backyard.
Yeah.
Having no spend days or weeks can be really good too, and can also incorporate everybody in the family to, and you can have your own rules, right? A no spend can be just no spend on extras. It can be, can we go a whole week and not spend anything? And you can prepare for that. Right. Go get gas in your vehicle. Yes. Go get groceries or check your pantry and your freezer and see what you can do to spread something out. And often, although this is not specifically about groceries, if you can spread out how often you grocery shop, if you get paid every 2 weeks and you typically grocery shop once a week, if you can spread those out and grocery shop every 10 days, that can get you a pay period where you're not grocery shopping twice. And that could be a nice little boost for your summer budget. And if you get everybody involved and explain why and where the money will go.
Everybody involved is huge because when you're the captain of the ship and the crewmates have no idea why we're even on the ship to begin with, you really look like a party pooper pretty fast, pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
Planning ahead, taking snacks with you.
Yep.
Water with you.
And looking for lower cost options for everything. So whether this is how to get to a specific place or destination or doing yard work. If you think you need a specific piece of equipment to do yard work, well, check with your neighbor. Do they have one that you could borrow?
Oh, yeah.
If you're using something once a year or once every couple of years, does buying it make sense or does renting it make sense? Just really, you can rent so many things. Libraries also have random things that you might not expect that you can borrow from them. I haven't heard of yard equipment yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. But kitchen things, utensils, like air fryers. And I've heard lots of libraries are lending stuff like that, which is
That's cool.
unusual, but really interesting.
Random
And
but good.
yeah, I asked ChatGPT, so let's see what else it had to say. So yeah, big on free events, taking food to where you're going, buying summer gear, off season or secondhand. Secondhand is huge, especially when it comes to things that tend to be items that people get really excited about and buy and then never use.
Oh yeah, I just listed my paddleboard last night because I was like, I bought this thing so excited. It's seen water maybe 3 times. So it's selling right now for $700. I'm like, come give me 4.
Take advantage of other people's lack of using things and know that you might be the same. You might not use something like that very much, but then if you can buy it used and sell it in a year from now or 18 months from now, used, you might be able to get the same dollar amount that you paid for it. So things like, paddle boards, kayaks, people get really excited about them and then less excited about them when you have them. So using that to help your bottom line. And another one, well, not specifically related to the summer, but can help give you reminders is to use visual things for goals. So if you have a goal to put away X amount for an event later in the summer or early fall, or you've got a big thing you want to do next summer, putting money aside for it and tracking that and making it visual can help you kind of control the spending that you're doing right now to help you put money towards that goal. And if you have any big goal that you're saving for, having a way to separate the funds so it's very easy to see what that money is for. So instead of trying to, okay, I've got this much in my savings account, but this much is for this goal, don't try and give yourself that mental challenge. Have a separate savings account for that goal specifically so you can easily see where it is. Well, the timing isn't perfect for this. If you're going into summer being like, I wish we had more funds to put towards fun things to do, set a reminder in your phone for the middle of September that you want to have more funds this time next year and start to put away money at that time for summer 2026, where you can, maybe it's $25 a paycheck, maybe it's $50 a paycheck, but really seeing that little bit add up and make next summer less stressful because you've got funds set aside can really be so rewarding and beneficial and just make life so much easier.
So bringing the team together, if it's team things, whether it's friends or family, creating options that don't cost an arm and a leg. And if there are bigger ticket items, putting a number to them so everyone's aware. Having a plan, even if that plan is today we're doing something free and I don't know what it is, but I have this list and we can pick from it in the morning.
Yep. I love that. Yeah, and explore all your options with your whole family about doing free things because you'll get their buy-in more and you'll have more ideas because you're going to think of things that others won't and vice versa. So really having a list and focusing on what are the big ticket items you're going to spend on this summer and how can you have fun all summer long without blowing your budget.
Yes.
So we are glad you've been here and we hope you have a wonderful summer, but don't worry, we're not going away. We'll be here next week too, but we just wanted to talk about your summer budget so that you could start to look at your plans for the summer because it's coming in hot. I meant to say that. We are glad you've been here and we can't wait to see you next time on the Mind and Money podcast.